Happy Monday. Um, Mom and I were away a little bit for the weekend. Very stressful. Do not suggest staying home. It's my freaking vibe. Okay. Definitely an old lady now. Staying home. It's my vibe. Chakra 6. We're going to start with our opening meditation. Okay. It is dark. Eyes closed. We lie as if asleep, dreamless, ignorant of all around us, floating in a sea of emptiness. We are cradled in darkness, unseeing, unknowing, at peace. We breathe slowly in and out. In and out. Stretching and relaxing our bodies as we settle into the warm, peaceful, darkness inside. We are home. We are safe. We are deep within ourselves, feeling, hearing, being, but not yet seeing. Become this darkness, all-knowing yet unknowing, empty and free. Let the dark wash over you, soothe you, as you empty your minds into the infinity of the void, the womb of darkness, the birthplace of our dreams to come. Somewhere in the darkness, we hear a sound, a distant note, a voice, a scuffle of movement. We feel the flutter of a breeze upon our face. Feel a warmth upon our shoulders. Feel the pull to rise and flow and follow, but we know not where. Our bodies cannot see and dare not move. They are dark and still. They call to us for direction, wisdom, and guidance. Stop that boy. They call to intelligence. They call to memory. They call for clarification of the pattern. They call to light. And afraid to leave the darkness and safety of our ignorance, we hear this call. We hear this call, and our own mind, hungry for answers, quests outward. We long to see, to know, to behold at once the wonders that surround us, to fill our minds with recognition, the certain steps of knowing, the safety and peace that light, too, can bring. We open our mind, we open our eyes, we look about. Images pour forth in myriad kaleidoscope forms, tumbling inward, pattern upon pattern, endlessly interweaving. Colors, shapes, and forms, reflecting space around us. Reflecting back into us, recording life in patterns that our minds can clearly see. The mind opens and receives, but there is too much and the light is blinding. We call to the dark to shade us, to temper, to bind the patterns into meaning. And the dark comes softly, hand in hand, and shadow into light, defining, shading, intertwining, ordering. The light comes more gently now, rainbow colors, healing, soothing, illuminating, coming at will, active yellow, healing green, soothing blue, potent violet. All that is alive glows with light. Shape and essence in form, revealed for us to see and know. What do we wish to see? What do we call forth to our inner vision? What does the light bring? Beauty of 1,000 suns, beauty of a single moon, patterns of the life we're leading, all the truth we are perceiving. Gently now on wings of light, our petals flutter through the night, reaching out to worlds beyond, events forthcoming, days long gone. Holographic matrix net escapes the boundaries by time set. All the truth can be contained by patterns in the mind retained. Red and yellow, green and blue, interlace in varied hue, shape and form, insight revealed, nothing can remain concealed. From inner vision, reaching out, seeing truth, removing doubt. Inside we open, watch, and wait, while wisdom's visions spin our fate. Through the dark, though the dark shall yet return, we fear it not, for we have learned the way the dark and light combine, letting patterns be defined. Dark to light and night to day, within our minds we light the way. So that is the opening meditation, and we are going to read clairvoyance. Clairvoyance, I think that's what I stopped on. Let me just check real quick. Got it dog-eared. Yep, clairvoyance. Okay, this is kind of an interesting little intro. In order to see, you have to stop being in the middle of the picture. I love that. In order to see, you have to stop being in the middle of the picture. Sri, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, but I'm going to give it my best shot. Sri Aurobindo. The most significant aspect of consciousness at the level of the 6th chakra is the development of psychic abilities. While psychic perception is not always visual, as in clairaudience from chakra 5 or clairsentience from chakra 2, the timelessness of clairvoyant information allows it to encompass a greater scope than any psychic abilities discussed thus far. The term clairvoyance means clear seeing. That is, seeing that is not muddled by the opaque world of material objects normally defining our limited sense of space and time. The words clear and seeing quite accurately describe the processes involved. To be clairvoyant, we need to look in the spaces that are clear, to look at the fields of energy, not at the objects themselves, to look at the relationships, not things, to see the world as a whole, and to reach with our minds directly and clearly for the information we want. The more clarity we have within ourselves, the better we're able to see the subtle properties of the world around us. To see implies a far deeper perception than to look, as exemplified by Don Juan in the Carlos Castenda series. When Castenda looked at a person, he only perceived a body, facial expressions, clothing. When he learned to see, he perceived a luminous egg surrounding the body, the web of interpenetrating energies we call the aura. When he instead changed his mode to seeing, he understood the greater process involved and could learn from it. Looking is the action of seeing, but seeing is the internalizing of the image into understanding. Take, for example, the common expression, I see. It generally means that someone has been able to take a small part of information and fit it into a scheme of the whole. Just as each bit of a hologram clarifies the whole picture, each new thing we look at becomes immediately incorporated into our sense of wholeness, bringing more clarity to our internal picture. How do we do this? According to Prebaum's model of the hologram, our mind, brain, acts as a kind of stage upon which our visual images play. When the proper cue is given, the holographic reference beam, the images appear on the stage. But where and what are the actors? The actors are the slides, stored holographically as colors, shapes, sounds, and tactile patterns. There is no carousel in the brain keeping complete and separate images, but instead, portions of the brain may produce qualities such as red, warm, fast, or quiet. These qualities combine in unique ways to create the images we see. We can think of the third eye as a mental screen upon which we cast our slides for viewing. If you close your eyes and remember your first car, you may be able to see the color, the texture of the upholstery, perhaps a small dent on one side. In your mind's eye, you can walk around the car, seeing the front and the back as you choose, just like the three-dimensional effects of a hologram. The actual car need not currently exist. The image exists apart from it. By focusing our attention, the image is retrieved. In your mind's eye, you can see what you choose to look at. If I ask you the color of your lover's hair, you can mentally retrieve that slide. Look at it and tell me what it is. Our memories are holographic. Can you create an equally vivid picture of a car you would like to have? Can you picture the color, the make, the vanity plate on the back? Can you visualize yourself driving it, going down a country road, the feel of the steering wheel in your hand? The car may never be yours to own, so your visualization is called imagination, even though it may seem just as real as your memory. If, however, you won a sweepstakes and a car such as the one you just visualized came to you, then your visualization could be considered precognitive, a form of clairvoyance. The difference lies in the result, but the process is the same. Through development of visualization and imagination, we simultaneously develop the means for clairvoyance. The process of clairvoyance is one of specified visualization. It is a matter of systematically being able to call up relevant information on demand, regardless of whether it has been previously known. Our minds are using a self-made reference beam in the form of a question to retrieve previously unknown data from the holographic memory bank. For instance, you may ask yourself to look at the area around someone's heart chakra with a specific question that needs answering, such as something about their health or relationships. The question becomes the reference beam that lights up that particular piece of information in the holographic pattern. We have stated that we transcend time in the sixth chakra. We need not limit accessible information to what has been learned in the past. We can also retrieve information from the future. The only difference is that we are actively creating the reference beam that will bring forth the image, rather than waiting for some point in future time where circumstances will call it forth. To quote novelist Marion Zimmer Bradley, "I don't decide where my stories are going. I just peek into the future and write down what happened." Few people believe that they can see something outside ordinary knowing, something they haven't literally seen or been told. There's no permission to have that information and no current explanation for it. So most people don't even bother to look for it. In order to see something, one needs to know where and how to look. We look for things in places where they are likely to be. We need not have put them there ourselves. We need only understand the basic order in which those things occur. The decimal system at the library is a prime example. So if finding the appropriate item in an unfamiliar grocery store, you survey the store. Uh-oh. Okay, sorry, it said my Wi-Fi wasn't up. I hope it is. Now, let's see here. The decimal system at the library is a prime example. So if finding the appropriate item in an unfamiliar grocery store, you survey the store, noting its general layout. You know what category the item belongs in. You superimpose the two mental images and head to that section to look more closely. Voila, your mental cross-referencing clicks in place and the sight of the item fits into the pre-created mental niche. Accessing mental information is really no different. If you tried to remember who told you a particular joke at a party, you would review the people at the party, the people you had personal conversations with, all the time keeping the joke in your mind, waiting for the right piece of data to fall into place. When you hit the correct memory, the image would light up in your mind as if illuminated by a clarity that other images did not have. In this process, we look through thousands of bits of data, sorting and deciphering until we see the pieces that fit. Once we know where to look for data, we need to know how to look. How many times have you looked for something you knew was in a particular place and still been unable to find it? How many times have you looked right at something and failed to see it? How many times have you accessed your memory and failed to bring forth the information you knew was there? Accessing memory is a process of finding the right code, the right reference beam, to bring the holographic image back to life. Just as a supercomputer contains data that is accessible only with the right command, so do our mental images require the proper mental image to unlock them. The development of clairvoyance depends on the development of the visual screen and the creation of an ordering system with which to access information for the screen. If we don't label our slides, we won't know where we're looking. The development of visualization is the ability to retrieve, create, and project images onto the mental screen. Once this is done, seeing depends largely on asking the right questions. We are not limited to slides. We have holographed ourselves. If the holographic model has any validity, then we have access to an infinity of images, each created by an infinity of brainwave patterns. We need only call it up by finding the correct reference beam. Many people begin with tarot cards, palmistry, or astrology to use as a structure that can provide the reference beam. The card brings up a variety of images. The person you are reading brings up another variety of images. What points seem most important? What points seem to light up? Where do the waves of information cross and become strongest? To look at something clairvoyantly, we not only need a reference point with which to retrieve the data, but also a blank screen to view the information. This comes with practice, patience, and a quiet and open mind. A quiet and open mind. A quiet and open mind. Emptying the mind of images through meditation, paradoxically, allows one to better see what things there are. Learning to focus the mind, creating one-pointedness, allows one to look deeper and therefore see more. In clairvoyance, there are no substitutes for a clear and quiet mind. There are no substitutes for a clear and quiet mind. Because these nuances are so subtle, it is common to ignore or invalidate them. Just as we cannot hear the whispers of telepathy in a noisy world, we can't see the subtle movements of the etheric realms if we expect them to be outlined in neon. Following is a typical exchange involving a new student of clairvoyance. AJ, have you ever seen an aura? Student, I don't think so. I don't see auras. AJ, have you ever looked? I've tried, but I don't see colors around the body. AJ, what do you see when you look for an aura? Student, I see the body. Around the edge, I see the things in the room behind the body. AJ, are you looking through space, not at it? Close your eyes and feel the aura. Then tell me what color it feels like. Student, it feels dark, no color. There's a little bit of gold color over the heart, I guess, but I don't know if I'm really seeing it. I kind of think I maybe see a little red in the legs, especially on the right, but I don't know. I thought you couldn't see auras. But I don't, really, only with my eyes closed, I mean. It's just my imagination, isn't it? I don't know. Why don't you check it out first? Ask the person how they are feeling. If the colors fit, reach out and test it. Third person. Well, I was running in the sunshine today, which I love doing, but I tripped on a root and fell. I kind of banged my knee a little and it's still sore. I guess that's relevant. Student, wow, I really did see something. Yeah, the red was around your knee. Did you bump your head too? Third person. Yes, as a matter of fact, but not as hard. AJ, how did you know that? Student, well, I didn't really see it, but the head looked kind of sore, but there were no colors, just a feeling. AJ, it looked sore, but you didn't see it. Okay, now look at that other person there. Student, eyes half closed. Well, I see green around the head, blue in the throat, nothing much in the stomach, but a lot of light in the hands. And you still say you can't see auras? Whether a parapsychologist would consider this kind of seeing to be a hit or a fraud is beside the point, because this exchange is not with developed clairvoyant, with a developed clairvoyant, but with a beginning student just learning to see. The process begins with learning to notice what you already see. This is heightened by validation of subtleties. The best way to obtain legitimate validation is to ask. The more we test our perceptions, the more we learn about our abilities, and the more we can trust our strong points and develop our weak ones. In a world so bombarded with physical visual stimuli and so ignorant of the internal images, validation is crucial. In searching for validation, it is also important to realize that it's okay to be wrong, at least while we're learning. Being wrong doesn't mean that it is impossible or that you have no psychic ability. Instead, use that feedback to refine the seeing. Look over what you thought you saw. Search for the grain of truth. See if you can find some correlation in your mind's eye to the objective information you've been given. So often when people guess wrongly, their reaction is, "Darn, that answer was my first impression, but I discarded it." Unless you are purely shooting in the dark, there's usually some grain of truth to all honest perceptions. Clairvoyance, then, is a matter of seeing the inner relationship of things, the fitting of the part into the whole. It is done by searching for the cross point or interference pattern between our question, the reference beam, and the piece of information that best fits the space we have created for it. The potency of the image that clicks into place sets it apart from the infinite number of other possible answers. Through meditation, visualization, and training, we can develop our abilities to perceive the subtle difference between the information we request and the countless other possibilities. So then there's some chakra 6 exercises. I'm just going to read this first one, and then maybe I can practice it through the day, and if whoever else is listening to me can also. So this is called the yogic eye exercise. This is an exercise for strengthening and centering the physical eyes, also good for eye strain, vision improvement, and general fatigue from doing a lot of paperwork or heavy reading. Being in a seated meditation position, spine straight, close your eyes and bathe them in the darkness. Bring your awareness to the point between your eyes in the center of the head. Feel the darkness there and let yourself bask in the quiet calm. Okay, so I'm just going to do that for a second. Focusing in between my eyes. I'm bathing my third eye in the darkness. Quiet, calm darkness. Okay. When you feel centered, open your eyes and gaze straight ahead. Slowly look upward, stretching your eyes skyward without moving your head. Then trace a straight line downward, gazing as low as your vision can reach still without moving your head. Then trace a straight line down. Okay, did that. Repeat upward and then downward again. Then return your eyes to center and close them, returning to the darkness. Open your eyes again and center them. Then repeat the above movements, going instead from corner to corner. First from upper right to lower right, 2 times. Then from upper left to lower right, also 2 times. Return again to the darkness. Hold on, Mom. Fat boy, it's Grandma. Shush. Fat boy, it's Grandma. Fat boy, it's Grandma. Shush. It is 9:01. Okay, and then return to the darkness. Return your third eye to the darkness. Okay. Repeat again, moving far right to far left, returning to darkness after 2 times. The final time after centering your eyes, make half circles, first on the top, then on the bottom, and finish by rolling your eyes around the clock, making a complete rotation, stretching your eyes and counterclockwise. Close your eyes again. Rub your palms together briskly until you feel your hands become warm. When the heat feels sufficient, place your palms over your eyelids. And let your eyes bask in the warmth and darkness. As the heat dissipates, slowly stroke your eyelids, massaging your forehead and face. From here, you can either go into a deeper meditation or return to the outside world. And I've done that before when I was doing a lot of chakra work and meditation after my son was tragically killed. I did a lot of meditation and I was practicing with my third eye quite a bit. And I would do as this instruction was and bathe it in the darkness. But at the same time, I would move my third eye like I'm doing right now, from right to left. And you just kind of visualize your third eye moving in clockwise. And actually, it's pretty powerful sixth chakra exercise. So that's it for now. It's Monday. Everyone have a blessed Monday and enjoy.